Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. And today I've been researching about Summer Wells again. I have not covered this case at all until the last couple of days, really, when subscribers, some of my members, some of my subscribers asked me to take a look at it. Normally, I don't really like to cover children's cases. And of course, since I've started researching this case, I've become almost obsessed with it, because this poor little girl, this little 5-year-old girl who went missing 2 years ago, and it seems like, wasn't a very nice environment that she lived in, whatever. And now, of course, it's a question of what happened to her. We hope that she's alive and well somewhere, of course, but it doesn't seem particularly likely. But it's possible. We've got to consider that. But I just wanted to share with you in this video some of the things that have come up as I've been researching, because I'm learning new things all the time. I literally knew nothing about this case, except it was a little girl who'd gone missing. Okay, so there's quite a few things. Now, something that I said in a previous video, because Summer and her brothers all had their hair shaved off. They looked like something out of Auschwitz. But the parents said a couple of reasons why this was. And one of the things I said at the time was maybe they had nits, and I wasn't far from the truth, because I do believe it's likely that they were infested with lice. I mean, that just makes it, Don Wells, the father, had said that Summer's hair was getting out of control. It wasn't getting out of control. It wasn't that long anyway before. And then I think it was either him or Candace, the mother, who said that Summer wanted her hair shaved to be like her dad. But then other people, other friends, etc., have said that she was really upset when she had her hair shaved off, because it meant she could have put bows in it and things. So, pay your money and take your choice. But to me, I'll stick by what I first thought in the very first time that I saw her, that there's nits or in lice, they're saying, but obviously some sort of infestation, and that's why their hair was shaved off. Now, that doesn't, of course, mean that anybody, that's not just because their hair was shaven off by the parents doesn't mean that the parents murdered them. I'm not saying that. I'm just going through some of the things that have struck me today. Now, of course, I didn't know anything about this young boy, Hunter, who was, for some unknown reason, had this relationship with Candace. He was they were supposed to have all gone swimming, hadn't they? He apparently said that at some point while they were swimming, Summer went under the water for 15 seconds. Candace denies this and said it didn't happen. Why was Candace hanging her out with a 15-year-old boy, giving him alcohol? And then he went along with Candace to take the grandma Candace, Candy, to get her drugs from the pharmacy. And I saw a really interesting comment on one of the videos that I was watching. I've watched so many different videos, YouTube things and etc. about this. And a very, I think, accurate and telling comment is somebody commented and said that they were an ex-drug addict, and that it's very common for young people to hang around old people, to go with them to the pharmacy, see what drugs they can get off them. And this particular person had done it often when they were an addict, hung around their grandparents trying to get anything that they could off them, from the pharmacy. So this person said it's not, I'm not surprised that they went to the pharmacy. Other people that are claiming to know Candace, and I have to say this video you know, this is hearsay from them saying that they knew she was a drug addict. The children were living in very squalid conditions. There was a lot of abuse, a lot of aggression, etc. So anyway, those sort of things we have to take with a pinch of salt. I'm sure the police are investigating into that. And the police have been very tight-lipped about why the three remaining boys were taken away into care. But there's been no specific reason given for that. In fact, there is a gag order on this, on the child protection case. The judge issued a gag order, so nobody's allowed to talk about that or release any information about that. So it makes you wonder, was it because they believe that Summer, you know, the parents have done something to Summer, or was it unrelated, just to do with the state of the house? You know, we don't know. There's a lot we don't know, of course. The other things that I just wanted to talk about were the dogs. So there was a lot of dogs on this land, and the dogs did not bark. So if someone was abducted, or if there were strange people hanging around, why did the dogs not bark? So if anyone did abduct her, it must have been somebody who knew her. It can't have been somebody that the dogs didn't know. The dogs did not bark, or nobody's reported that the dogs barked. So that was something I wanted to mention. I think that's a big thing. You know, dogs can, even though they can't speak, they can tell a story all the same. And certainly their lack of barking. What was the other thing I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, so then you've got Jodie Sue, who said that she heard an animalistic scream, where she said it was animalistic but not an animal. So, you know, I mean, I'm not really one for sort of trying to dissect screams and decide what kind of screams they were, because you don't really know, because if you weren't there, how do you know what kind of scream it was? But apparently she described it as an animalistic scream, but not an animal. So something else then that I thought about is something else that I thought about was now, if you've seen the photo, that supposedly the last photo of Summer on the way back from the lake or wherever it was that they'd gone swimming, where she's asleep in the car, or was she asleep in the car? So a lot of people are saying that maybe she had already passed then, and the photo was taken just like a bit of a red herring, you know. But I don't know. How can you possibly tell? You'll see the photo as you're watching this video. You know, that's impossible to tell. What do you think? You know, she could be asleep, or she could be, you know, at the end of the day, she could be. But what would have happened to her? Did she drown when she was swimming? When Hunter said that she went under the water, but Candace says no, she didn't go under the water. There's a lot of discrepancies between what Hunter says and what Candace says. So someone's not either lying or just plain got it wrong. I mean, a 15-year-old boy, that'd be difficult for him to remember time, you know, time spans and things like that. He said they were, when they got the twisted teas or whatever, he said they were in there for nearly an hour, whereas Candace said they were only in there for 5-10 minutes. But to him, it might seem like an hour because he's 15 and he's perhaps wanting to go somewhere else, you know. So again, the timelines are difficult, but there's definitely big discrepancies in the timelines. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, so apparently didn't Don pass a lie detector test? So that's significant. I mean, either, you know, if he'd failed it, would people all be saying that then he must be guilty? So if he's passed it, then does that mean that he must be innocent? You know, we have to think about that. Now, going back to the car again briefly, one of my subscribers had sent me an email saying they had a theory about what might have happened to Summer, was that maybe she was in the car and they forgot. Well, she didn't say that did she just sleep too long in the car? And you know what if it's hot, that can apparent. What my subscriber was saying, that she'd heard that Summer often slept in the car. Had she slept too long in the car? And then that led me to think, when I was looking at that picture of them coming home and she was asleep in the car, did they leave her in the car and forget that they'd left her in the car? Because, of course, they were, you know, Candace, with respect, she's a drug addict, and she was completely high as a kite most of the time on meth, heroin, you name it, she was taking it. So it seems like perfectly possible that they just forgot and left her in the car, just a tragic accident. I'd like to, I mean, if in fact the parents are responsible, you won't want to think that they'd actually done something deliberate to her. You know, if it was an accident and they were, but I don't understand why, if it was a tragic accident, they didn't just own up to it, because if they were worried that the children might be taken off them, well, the children were taken up, the other children were taken off them anyway, and they must have known surely that was going to happen. Obviously, I suppose they didn't want to go to prison, but if it genuinely was an accident, would they have ended up going to prison, you know, for a genuine accident? I just don't know, but it's a possibility, isn't it? But the thing for me, the most important thing is the dogs. The dogs didn't. None of the neighbours reported hearing the dogs bark, as if, you know, somebody, as if somebody had, you know, somebody strange was in the area. So if somebody did actually go there and take somebody else apart from the family, it must have been someone the dogs knew, because do you think there were about 12 dogs, I think, on that property? So surely some of them would have barked, you know. I mean, God, my dog would go mental. I've only got 2 and they'd go mad if somebody came, you know, was hanging around. They go mad if someone's talking outside the window, as you know. So that was the other thing that I just wanted to mention. And I think that is a very important point. Anyway, I found it very interesting reading on these other YouTube channels, etc., because some people do know them, or say they know them anyway, and they were giving insights, you know, into Candace. When I first saw Candace, I was feeling like, you know, she's not innocent, that's not the right word, but maybe is under the thrall of Don. But funnily enough, the more I'm sort of watching and seeing, I'm starting to think that actually, you know, I don't know. I mean, with Don is a drunk. You can see that as clear as anything. He keeps saying he's giving up drinking, but he's struggling to do that. And then, you know, that could tie in with the fact that his daughter, you know, has disappeared, and he's had his children taken off him, and, you know, I don't expect he's going through a very good time at the moment. So, you know, if he's turned into alcohol just to get him through. But basically, what I do feel about this case very, very strongly is, if it is the parents, if there is something, you know, that one of them has done and the other has helped to cover up, if they both know about it, but maybe only one has done it, I do feel they'll be throwing each other under the bus soon, because this is not a harmonious relationship. You know, it's just not. And there's drugs and alcohol involved, and now the children have been taken away, so I haven't got the children to focus on. They've only got each other to focus on. Sooner or later, in an argument, I don't know, one of them goes off with somebody else. And again, yeah, what was Candace doing with this 15-year-old boy and giving him alcohol, etc.? You know, that's it. You know, it's strange, isn't it? Could be that Candace, obviously, maybe she's she's quite childish, isn't she? So maybe, you know, if she has got some learning difficulties, etc., maybe she just gets on better with younger, you know, young people. Some people are like that, you know, they feel more comfortable with younger people because they don't feel comfortable in the adult realm, because in their own head they're not exactly an adult. I mean, so this is the next, gosh, so I've done quite a lot of research today. These are the thoughts that have gone through my head, and that I just wanted to share with you, see what you think about them. But I do think, you know, so I do think this case will be resolved. I do think we will find out what happens this summer, and I think it may come with the disintegration of this relationship of theirs, or somebody somewhere knows something, and somebody is going to say, and these volatile relationships, if they had a more sort of stable relationship, I wouldn't be so confident that it's going to come out. But obviously when there's drugs and alcohol involved in a volatile relationship, and maybe, you know, people who are having relationships with other people, something is going to come out if one or other of those parents is responsible and the other one knows, because they will be selling each other down the river. If it comes out, they will be neither of them will be wanting to go to prison for the longest time, so they will be sort of like turning on each other, I would imagine. But yeah, so the biggest take I got from the research I did today is, I don't know if Summer was alive in the back of that car. I think she probably was, but did they forget she was there? Was that animalistic scream when someone they suddenly remembered about she was in the car and went and looked, and she'd, you know, been in the car and it was hot, and, you know, that's happened more than once to children accidentally. So there's that. And then what was the other thing? Yeah, the lie detector test that Don passed. Why do you think he passed that? Because he said apparently he wouldn't take one earlier in the case, which is fair enough. He was told not to take one because he was too stressed. But apparently when he finally took one, he did pass it. So I don't know. Okay, and yeah, why do you think there's a gag order on the child protection? The reasons why the children were taken away. You know, I think the police must know so much, but they're just not saying anything at the moment. They're very, very close-lipped. There's no information coming out. The only thing the police have said is that they do not think she has been abducted, despite the fact that the parents are saying they're certain she's been abducted. Oh, one other thing, I found a video which was done having like a Zoom call with someone called Cher. I can't play it because he goes absolutely, he just loses it completely with this woman. He actually calls her an Nigger several times. So that's another reason why I can't play it, because I haven't worked out how to beep things out yet. He calls her a bitch. I mean, you see the real Don Wells in this video, and that, you know, made me see, you know, this guy, you can talk about God and, you know, church, and they're church-going people, and they're this, that, and the other, but seeing that other side of him there on that video, well, you know, you can see that he has got very, you know, he's a definite Jekyll and Hyde. Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you. Let me know what you think in comments, as always. I'll be back soon with a video about this case, because when I get a case that, you know, I'm very, very interested in, and I get invested in it, I will definitely be making more videos on this until eventually we have justice for Summer, just like in any other case. Madeline Kingsbury was the same, Nicola Bulley. For me, I do a lot of videos on different subjects, cases, but things like this that you really want to know the answer to, You have to just keep nibbling away and hope that one day. Now, Madeleine Kingsbury was found and her partner, ex-partner, is in custody. Let's hope for similar Rachel Marin, you know. So these cases, I follow them to the end. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone who's listened to this video. Thank you to all of you who've subscribed. If you've not subscribed, please consider it. Please like the video if you did like the video, and also thank you to all my members. Thank you to everyone who's bought me a Ko-fi, everyone who's sent me a super, or just sat and watched at home. Thank you so much to everyone who supported my channel in any way, shape or form. So remember to always live and love carefully, wisely. I'll see you very soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.